There is a saying that goes, drug education for children is essential to equip them with the knowledge and skills to make informed decisions about substance use. It helps them to understand the risks associated with drugs, resist peer pressure, and seek help when needed. Now, by educating children about the dangers of drug abuse from an early age, we can empower them to lead healthy, drug-free lives and make positive choices for their well-being. Welcome to Inside Today. I am Jumai Manson. Today, I will be looking at the necessity of drug education for children. Stay tuned. The program continues shortly. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television, and yes, this is Inside Today, and I am being joined by Dr. Kings Oshifade Kayode. He is the team lead, founder, and convener of Holy Kings Impact Foundation. You are welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Dr. Kings. How have you been? How is everything in general?
Yeah, we thank God. We are moving up with life.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know you've been making impact when it comes to women, children, you know, the society at large. You have been making impact with your foundation, right?
By God's grace, I think that's what you're living, the time is you're living in this town. We live to live. Yeah.
Now, let's look at the question in proper. Now, how can early drug education help children make informed decisions about substance abuse when parents come together and educate their child about drugs and substance abuse?
I think the first thing, when we talk about these, we should take it into the depths, the roots. You know, many times when people talk about drug abuse, we only talk about the theory part. We don't talk about the reality. And I think that's what we should be doing here today. And the first and for all, I would like to let you all know that youth are the most important thing on earth. They should be taking space in all ramification. And it's important we should start educating our children, the youth at large, what the effects, what drug abuse is, and how, because people begin to malfunction when they are not aware of who they are. They don't know who, you know, anything is inevitable, you know. Destruction is inevitable when you don't know who you are. And I think that's what we should be doing here today. And it's important we should start taking responsibility as a parent, because the real job of drug abuse and drug education should be lies in the hand of the parents more, not even the government. Because these days, parents leave their child in the hands of the teacher, in the hands of the nanny. So who is giving the real value? You know, it's raising a child is beyond just I have the money. You know, we should, and that's why drug abuse is something that it's crazy in the world today, because the parents are not even there to be the main models and value to the life of the children.
Now, let me ask you something, Dr. Kings. You know, for many individuals in our society that we find ourselves today, we hear that sex education, let's educate our children on sex education is very important, that the children should know their right from their left. They should understand the impact and what it brings to our society. Now, do you think we do not lay that same emphasis when it comes to educating the child on drugs and substance abuse?
I think this is what we should be doing at this critical stage, because drug abuse is something that is getting crazier day by day. And, you know, why do people go into drugs? Let's begin with that. I think that should be the first question we should answer. We should answer to ourselves. People take drugs because they want to dodge responsibility. They say, when I take drugs, I will high and I will forget.
Exactly.
I will be depressed. And not knowing that when you get high, the next day you still pick up with the reality. So people take drugs because they want to dodge responsibility, and anybody that dodges responsibility ends up as a liability to himself and the environment at large. So what should we be doing to eradicate that? I think this is when we should all know that everything on earth is permitted to work against you, but never work against yourself. Why do we even take drugs? Why do we get depressed? A lot of people will tell you, I'm depressed People get depressed here because they are trying to impress some people. You know, when you ask people question, why did they said my friend pushed me into it, like, how you can do it, you can do it. You want to impress your friends and you are killing yourself, and it's hard for you to get out of that state you are. So we should start understanding that there's one thing I call law of crapology. Is a law we should all understand. What does law of crapology does? Law of crapology speaks about our family and the pressure around us. You know, people, when you put a crab in a basket, it finds its way out. You just try and put like 5-10 crabs in a basket. When one is trying to come out, the others will pull them back. That's why the environment is like this. And I tell people, when I see you, I can determine who you will become. Why? Your circle determines what comes out of you.
Your circle of friends.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Kings, let's look at it critically. I know you've dealt with and you've actually been involved in the lives of children when it comes to when they are kids, from teenagers to now the youth.
Yeah.
Now, don't you think at a certain age in the life of a child, there's something called, I want to explore. I want to know what it entails. I want to know how it is done. I want to know how it feels like. Now, how does the role of drug education play in preventing drug abuse and among children and teenagers when they get to their level of their age?
No, the thing is, I think that comes with from the beginning when a child is less busy. When people are less busy, you know, they are bound to do anything. Anything comes to their mind because their mind is not filled up. But that's why when you see some particular children, they don't even have that time because their mind is filled up with a lot of things. That's why we should start engaging our children. Real education is beyond the 4 walls of education. This is when we should engage these children in a lot of things, not just when they come back from school, because they are free. That's why they think about drugs. So we should start getting them involved. They should start getting them engaged in many spaces. And I think, you know, the problem about this is still that the youth and children, most of the youth, they are product of distraction. When I say they are product of distraction, what do I mean by that? You know, what are they distracted of? You know, what got you distracted? And you know, the pressure of followership, who you follow, that's why I say who you follow determines what following you. You know, there's some set of people, you know, their followers is just too, they don't even have that time. That's why we indulge, and I will use this opportunity to say a word to the parents. Please, if you know you can't even raise a child, raising a child is beyond just having the money. Are you mentally ready to raise a child? Will you be there for that child? Can you talk to the child? That's the reason why we are raising a lot of rich fools. This is the time we should raise a child. We should give birth to children we can raise. And another thing is this social media. That's another problem we are facing. That's
created
now.
So much impact.
I'm telling you. Just imagine people choose their mothers in the wrong way.
But Mr. King, if you look at it, but looking at it critically, someone would tell you social media can actually make or break a child. A child can get whatever information they want on social media today. All you need to do is Google, and that is it. But the truth is, the Nigeria in which we find ourselves, everyone is actually in a hurry. Everyone wants to find money. And can you actually blame parents who do not have time to sit their children down and educate them to things that they feel they are even in denial of? Their child can never go into drugs. So would you actually blame this or blame the child in the system in which we have found ourselves?
The thing is this, I tell people everything that has advantage have its disadvantage.
Yes, it does.
Like me being here today, what I'm saying today is not just what I learned in school. It's part of the product of social media. You know, I tell people money in the hand of a bad person will make the person more bad. Money in the hands of a good person will do more good with money. Just the way social media is. You know, when you are on social media and you have the right information, you will be more important, you'll be more valuable to the society. But when you are on social media, just imagine the kind of models people get on social media. We set our priority wrongs. Just imagine, you know, and even the celebrities, so-called, they are one of the major problems. I stand to be corrected, but that's the reality. You see them, you know, because they have a lot of followership, you see them online doing IG live, like 50,000 is following, and you are talking, you are smoking. You know, it's crazy. I think they should sensitize all of these things.
And you know what, Dr. King, just to add to what you've just said, and then when you look at it, when you look at musical videos, when you look at some of these things by these celebs that you talk about, they actually portray the use of substance abuse. You see some of them with drinks, you see some of them with cigarettes, like you have said, giving that notion to a child that is watching, that looks up to this individual or this celeb as a role model that, okay, that is the way of life. Now, let's take it back a bit. Now, what impact does parental involvement in drug education have on a child's attitude towards drug use?
I think what we should be talking about, I remember when we were growing up, like what we see today, we hardly see it then. Even for those that smoke, they will go to the bush, which means what they are doing is wrong.
It's wrong, exactly.
But these days, not only our celebrity do it, they will go on live, you see them, and the parents, that's where the parents comes in. Are we still teaching morals? Are we still teaching values? And I tell people, the real education is beyond the 4 walls of education. This is the time we should be teaching more of morals, value, letting them know that when you do this, this is what you become. When you do this, this is when, because most of these children, they are not even aware. Look at a life of a child, you know, when you see some child, that's the reason why it still falls in the hand of the parent. Parents only give children their money these days. They don't give them their wisdom. That's why we have too much rich fools. And when you transfer your money to your child, you forgot to transfer the wisdom, what will become the child? The child used that money to do drugs, because he doesn't even know what it takes to work. He does not even understand how you grew. So that's why I tell people we should start building wealth creation. We have a lot of rich fools. Wealth creation, generational transfer. Let's transfer the real wealth. Because people don't even understand what the real wealth is. That's why we have a lot of child out there. What they do is drugs because they have enough money. The parent has given them money to do this. That's why the work is in the hands of the parent. It's still
but if you look at it, Dr. King,
okay.
Sometimes, you know, when you hear drugs and substance education, when you educate the child when it comes to this particular issue, parents hardly think that far off. And you wonder and you say to yourself, you know, looking at this now, because of the menace in which it has caused in our society, we see a lot of children. I've been fortunate to speak with kids from 12, 13, 14, 15, and they tell you the experience in which they've had. They tell you that they started when their uncle who came to the house, it could be their father's brother or their mother's brother, who comes into the house and says, okay, come, go get me a stick of cigarettes. And the child does it the first time, the second time, the third time, and then the uncle says, come and take a drag. There's some states in Nigeria here that they will tell you, I don't want to mention the state, but I'm sure you will know. They don't take it as anything when they tell the child to taste alcohol, not minding the impact that little taste can cause in the child's future. Now, educating the child on drugs and substance, I feel we parents do not do enough. I think parents need to take this as something on their shoulders, just the way they talk about, like I said, the basic of say no to sex at an early age, be careful, you know, it's very important. The way we emphasize on rape, we emphasize on abuse, we exercise on violence. I think drug education is very important. Now, looking at this, how do you think teaching children about the risks and consequences of drug use empower them to resist from peer pressure? You mentioned crapology.
Yeah.
When a crab is trying to come out of
Yes.
the basket, and they keep pulling them down. That is how it is when it comes to children. You see a lot of kids, they sometimes they remember where they're from. They remember their parents, they remember, but because of the peer pressure in which they encounter their friends, if you do not take drugs, you cannot be like us, you're not the hype man, So how do you think a child can wiggle away from all of that? And also parents, how do you explain to the child the consequences that is ahead once you go into drugs, and why it is important to resist drugs and substance abuse?
I think, that's a very beautiful question. While we're growing up, there's a lot of things that reigned during our time, like tattoo. It's reigned during our time, like cultists. Then there wasn't Yahoo, you ate it like this. So what was reigning there was cults. But all of these, by God's grace, I don't have any tattoo on my body. By God's grace, there are some things I can never do. Why? Because of the value, the moral our parents taught us. I still remember vividly 1993/4. That was the first time they brought snooker to Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes. Then they will put water in balls and I remember me and my brother, we were like, let's go and look how it looks like. We went to play snooker with 1 naira. When our parents, my mom caught us, they beat the hell out of us. Since that day, that should be like 34, 35, 3 years ago. Since that day till now, even that I'm free to do, I hate snooker. Look at it. That's the same way. What are the things what are we putting in there or in the life of those children? What are the things? This is the time we should be doing revolution of mindset. Let's work on the children mindset. And the best person to work on the mindset is the parent. They respect us more than what they hear outside. But it's so discouraged that these days you see some parents doing it themselves. While you are smoking,
the child is
what
watching.
Are you telling the child? Automatically, you've told that it's right to smoke. So what you don't have, you can't give. I tell people, not every elder you see out there have it upstairs. We have a lot of we have a lot of old fools. It's young food that becomes old food. What you don't have, you can't give. That's why we have uncooked parents. That's why things are going crazy. I tell people, social media these days, you need to see the way I'm training my children. It's God that trains, but there is a way you can help. When you see my children out there, you will know. You ask that, is this the children of nowadays? Despite that the things are crazy, there's a way we can control it in our own space. Let's create that time. Because I tell people, your input determines your output.
Yes, it does.
What you follow determines what follow you. Your connection determines your collection. People get connected to negative things based on who they are connected to. So we should start working on our association. I tell people your association determines your assimilation. Because when you have the right people around you, there are some things you can't do.
Exactly. All right. Like Dr. King just said, once you have the right people around you, there's some things you cannot do. Let's quickly go on a very short break. And when we return, the program continues. Remember, it's Inside Today on Global Television. Stay tuned.
Global TV concept is the emerging, brand that everybody must watch. So I subscribe, and I'm prescribing that we must all be ready to begin to watch Global TV.
So keep watching Global TV, especially for updates on agriculture, food, commodities, and without food, there is no great nation.
So please watch Global TV because it's going to change your life.
Okay, you are welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Insight Today. And on the program, we're looking at necessity of drug education by parents to the children. And I am joined by Dr. Kings Oshifade. And of course, he is the CEO convener. And he is here to discuss with us, talking about drugs and substance abuse, educating the child. Now, the last question before we wrap up the program. Now, what are the benefits of incorporating drug education into the family front as a whole, to tell the children from the foundation? What benefits are there?
No, having that, is necessary, and it has a lot of benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, it's reshaping the life of the child. Even when the child is out there without you, the parents around, there's something that sticks to the mind of the child.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there are some things I learned from my parents that they told me do not do. Like more than 30 years ago, till now, I've lost my parent, but those things are still in my head. That's where this thing comes in. I tell people, I don't know if you know about the circus elephant in India. Have you heard about the circus elephant?
Okay.
This is the circus elephant. They will put an elephant in a circle.
Okay.
And they will put a chain on his leg for like 3 weeks, 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime the elephant tries to stretch out, the chain draws it back.
Okay.
But when the chain is taken out of the leg,
Mm-hmm.
even when you free the elephant, it does not cross that circle. What does that tell you? That's the mindset.
Hmm.
The mindset, the chain has left the leg, it has come to the mindset. So we should start working on the mindset of these children. What we put in their life now, what we teach them, it has the capacity to be there till any time.
Yes, it does.
That's why we should start doing the right value. Teach them the reason why. Show them the life of a child doing drugs, and show them the lives of people that don't. Show them the life of a child doing drugs, and show them the life of people that don't do drugs. See the difference. The difference is clear. And that's why I tell people, I tell people something that people fail to don't understand.
Yes.
The real dream is not what you see at night. The real dream is that thing that keeps you awake. Is the 11th president of India, Abdul Kalam, that said so. So we should start pursuing the real dream. Get ourselves busy, engaged,
Exactly.
productive things.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Kings Oshifade. Of course, he is the convener and, of course, the team lead founder of Holy Kings Impact Foundation. And he has said a lot when it comes to educating the child on drugs and substance abuse. Thank you so much, Dr. Kings, for being a part of the program. And remember, with that, let us find time to make an impact when it comes to this particular very sensitive issue in our society. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you all so much for being a part of the program Insight Today. Join me same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.